West Australian Sandy Robson is retracing the voyage of German Oscar Speck, who paddled a kayak from Germany to Australia over a 7-year period some 80 years ago.
Ms Robson is the recipient of the 2015 Nancy Bird Walton Sponsorship for Female Adventurers awarded by the Australian Geographic Society and is due to commence the final leg of her epic journey 5 years after setting out. She joined us earlier via webcam from Jayapura in Indonesia.
Well, I'm pretty excited because I feel like I'm nearly home, and crossing into Papua New Guinea is the 19th country that I'll be paddling through. So it's an exciting time, just finding a new country, a new culture, new food.
Quite an extraordinary journey. You are, of course, retracing the journey of German Oscar Speck some 80-odd years ago when he paddled from Germany to Australia in the 1930s. Why was it that you decided it was a good idea to retrace his steps?
Well, I'm a passionate sea kayaker and I really like long journeys, so I just thought I'd give it a go.
Passionate indeed. So you started your particular journey way back in 2011. How's it been progressing for you?
It's been going really well. There's been a lot of challenges to face, but I have had a lot of support from amazing people. And I find that when you start chasing a big dream like this, then things do often fall into place in ways that you could never imagine. And I've had a lot of luck along the way with the people that I've found to help me.
Well, you would be relying a lot on that sort of luck, I imagine, travelling through 19 countries at this stage. What have been some of the standout memories for you?
Oh, well, it's been a big journey and a lot of challenges, and the standouts have been places like India. The east coast of India is the hardest place I've ever paddled, and people really stepped up to help me and get me through that. Also some really beautiful scenery, like paddling through Myanmar and Thailand, and most recently the last year in Indonesia. There's some fantastic coral reefs and big cliffs and just stunning places to paddle. And also Komodo National Park, well, that was a big standout.
So certainly a lot to keep you motivated there. I'm interested to find out more though, Sandy, in terms of those challenges. I imagine you're dealing with all sorts of things, the weather, conditions out on the water, not to mention perhaps even being in zones that are somewhat dangerous. So what for you has been the one moment where perhaps you've thought that maybe you wouldn't be able to proceed as you'd like?
Well, on the east coast of India, I had some fishermen that thought I was a terrorist, and they ran over my boat and apprehended me to take me to the police. And at that stage, I really had to think, well, you know, if it keeps going like this, I just can't do it. But then the local police did step up, and my supporters helped to get that under control so that that wouldn't happen again. I've had some big challenges, big storms and big weather. Those kind of things were expected, and I've got a good weatherman who gives me the forecast daily, so I can just stay on the land if I want to avoid some nasty conditions out there. But sometimes you do get stuck out on the water. I've had some situations where I've had to paddle all night to get to where I wanted to go. In Sri Lanka, for example, there's a national park with leopards, and the park staff wouldn't let me land and camp there for my own safety. So I had to paddle over 100 kilometres right through the night to get to the end of that one. So yeah, there's been some crazy situations and some great stories from this journey.
Well, you look like you're holding up pretty well as well, and like as we mentioned, the finish is not too far when you take into consideration the journey you've travelled so far. For those who don't know exactly the course that you've charted, you've gone through from Germany, you started in Germany. Whereabouts have you actually passed through?
Oh, wow, so many countries. So I started off on the Danube River in Germany and followed that right through to the Serbian-Bulgaria border. And then I crossed to another river in Macedonia, the same as Oscar Speck did. It's called the Vardar, and that brought me to the sea in Greece. And then right through Greece, Turkey, Cyprus. I had to skip some countries in the Middle East because of the war in Syria, and Iran wouldn't let me in. And then I jumped across to the coast of India, Sri Lanka. I went right around Sri Lanka. That was a world record circumnavigation of Sri Lanka by kayak. And then from India into Bangladesh, Myanmar, Malaysia, Thailand, Singapore, Indonesia, and Timor-Leste, and now crossing into Papua New Guinea. So it's a big track across the world. Actually, that's the thing that really inspired me about this journey, because it is the longest kayak journey ever made. Really amazing trip.
Well, it is certainly one way to see the world, isn't it? Not many of us will get that sort of an opportunity. Now, you are looking forward to getting down to Australia. How long do you expect this final stage to take, and where will you be landing in Australia?
I'm hoping to land in Australia in September or October, and that will be at Saibai Island in the Torres Strait.
Now, I do note as well that looking back historically at what happened to Oscar Speck when he landed in Australia, it happened to coincide with the outbreak of World War II. I imagine you're hoping for a very different reception once you get there.
Yes, Oscar Speck was very unlucky. He paddled for 7 years across the world with all that freedom and adventure, and then when he arrived, he was German, of course, so he was interned for 6 years. And my reception on Saibai will be completely different because I'm coming home, so that's going to be great. And getting a traditional Aboriginal welcome when I arrive will be really fantastic. I'm looking forward to it so much.
Well, you have done a great job so far, Sandy Robson. Just an unbelievable effort. Thank you very much for finding the time to talk to us on Weekend Breakfast.
Okay, I hope that people will be following on my blog, and my website is sandy-robson.com.
Brilliant. Thank you, Sandy.
Thanks a lot.
Go Sandy.
All the best to her.
A huge effort.
I know, yes. Can't wait to see her finally make it all the way back.
As you say, a bit of a different outcome to Oscar.
Oh, let's hope. Absolutely.